So what we're doing, because we're going to be photographing a moving bike going down the hill slightly, and I want to show movement in this picture, I've got to level my camera up with the tilt of the road. So that's what I'm doing. I'm leveling my camera up, which is not level, but I'm angling it so that in my viewfinder, the road looks like it's a level road. That way, when I'm moving my camera with it to show movement, hopefully the bike is going to be pretty much in the same position if I can pan with the speed of the bike, and the background will be out of focus and fuzzy, showing movement. And while I have him here, let me focus on him. So you'll be riding right about where that line is?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to focus on you.
I'm about a foot away from the white line.
Okay. I'm going to focus on you and then take the focus off. What we want to continue to harp on here is the relationship between your shutter speed and your f-stop. So if we're showing you a moving object and we want to show motion and we're going to pan the camera with the bike, then hopefully the bike will be frozen if we can pan at the exact same speed as the bike, and the background is going to have movement in it. Now, you know, there's no precise formula for this because, you know, depending on how fast that bike is going, and if it was a race car going 150 miles an hour, you're going to have a faster shutter speed, obviously, than what I'm going to use on a bike going slower. So I'm going to start with a wild guess here of, a hundredth of a second. This is a bright sunny day out here. It's 10:30. If you're a landscape photographer, this would be a horrible time to be shooting. But for what we're trying to show you, it's going to work just fine. And at a hundredth of a second, my exposure is going to be at f11. That's taking a reading off the green grass, because the green grass is almost identical to 18% gray, as I've been harping on. Now that I did that, I have to refocus on you because I just changed the focus messing around with the grass. I'm focused on you. I have taken the focus off and we're ready to go. So again, I'm going to try to pan at the same speed you're going. That actually worked pretty good. I mean, my first mistake was, if I'd had any sense at all, I would have put this at 3 frames a second. So all I got was one shot there. Oh, okay. But actually, you know, I've got to shoot this when you're right in front of the camera. And it really came out very nice. I mean, I can read, you can't see the spokes and the wheels, of course. I can read the name on the bike. So we're nice and sharp there. You know, I think we can show motion even better if I slow it down. I'll go to a 50th. Boy, notice that hesitation. I'll go to a 50th of a second, which is going to be one full stop. Now, again, we were shooting at 100th. So if I'm going to slow down my shutter speed, which means we're going to let the light in longer, then I've got to make a smaller physical aperture, or what Kodak used to say with film was you had to close down, indicating that you have a smaller aperture. So if I went 3 clicks for my shutter speed, I've got to go 3 clicks on my f-stop, making it smaller, which is going to make it f16 at a 50th of a second. So see, there's a relationship there. You can shoot real slow and change your f-stop, shut it down, make it a much smaller aperture, and it's still going to be the right exposure. Or you could go the opposite direction. But anyway, we're going to try this 50th of a second. Oh, I'm going to set my camera drive on 3 shots a second, which might just give me a little bit better chance of getting the right shot. I'll have, you know, 3 shots in 1 second as he blasts in front of me. Of course, it's still just 1 second. Alrighty, let's try it again. We're going to get a little bit more motion, I think. Might be too much, might be blurred. But again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to freeze the bike, except obviously, you know, the spokes, and maybe this will be a little more artistic where his feet will be moving. But we still want him to be fairly sharp and want the bike to be fairly sharp. I want movement in the background and a little bit of movement on him. And I'll pan with him before as he's coming, in hopes that I'm keeping the right speed going with him. And we'll go back and see what we have here. Well, I can still read everything on the bike perfectly. I do not see your feet moving yet. So even at a 50th of a second, it's not as artistic as we could make it, but the bike is still nice and sharp. So now we're going to go down, and the exposure was nice. Of course, we kind of knew that. If a cloud had come in front of the sun or something, we would have had to change the exposure, but it didn't. We just have a bright sunny day out here. So I'm really hesitating on this, but I'll go to a 25th of a second, which was another 3 clicks on the camera. A Nikon, it's 4 clicks for one stop, and a Canon is 3. And so I'm at f16. You know what? Yeah, I can go to f22, which is 3 clicks. So now we're at f22, a much smaller aperture. We'll have more depth of field that way, but that's not going to show with this movement. And we're at a 25th of a second, and we're going to try it again. If this guy will get out of our way.
Yeah, seriously.
And what do you want? Oh, lunch. I hope he doesn't get out of the way. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
All right, so you want to go set that on on that, and then we'll shoot this. And I guess we want to shoot a shot where we kind of freeze everything, maybe. I might have not panned quite fast enough. You know, as he's going directly in front of you, he's moving faster than if he's coming, at least it looks like he's moving faster than if he's coming towards you. If you were photographing something coming right at you, you wouldn't have to be shooting as fast as we're shooting when he goes zip right in front of you. And let's see what happened on that one. Okay, well, the last shot was not good. And the first shot was not good.
Was the middle shot pretty okay?
The middle shot's good. Obviously, we've hit a point here where it's really critical now. We see your foot moving. We can read the name on the bike really well. So I guess now what we'll do is we'll go to the extreme opposite. We'll get a very fast shutter speed and see if we can freeze everything. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 to get up to a 500th of a second. So we're at 22, so we have to do 13 clicks back the other way to open up our aperture to let more light in, because now we have a very fast shutter speed. We're not letting much light in. So if we go back 13 clicks, we're shooting at f5. So now the truth of the matter is at f5 you're not going to have much depth of field. You know, the little tiny physical aperture is closing down. You have a lot of depth of field. And at f5 we're not going to have much depth of field, and since we're moving with him anyway, I think all we're going to have is kind of a sharp bike at this point, because there won't be much depth of field. It'll be out of, you know, our depth of field is shot. But anyway, we'll shoot this for kicks and giggles. Again, if nothing else, it's showing that our exposure remains the same as we change our f-stop and our shutter speed. Ready. All right. And this time every single shot looks sharp. And of course you're frozen. We're starting to see, I guess that's one thing that it indicates. We're starting to, we see the spokes in the wheel now. So, you know, we know we're shooting really fast. And again, if we were shooting a race car, we might want to be shooting at a thousandth of a second. The other thing I should mention, as I've told you all over and over, I like to shoot at an ISO of 100. You know, let's say you're shooting a racetrack and it's starting to get dark, it's around dusk. I don't know if they do that or not. You might have to move your ISO up to a much higher number in order to be able to accomplish this. We're out in bright sun, so my ISO of 100 is still working just great for me, but it's something to consider. All right, sir, I think that is a wrap. Isn't that what they say in the movies? That's a wrap?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Hey, thanks for joining us with it. Please subscribe and tell your friends about us. We need as many people subscribing as watching as possible. Hey, thanks again. Good day. All right.